Hey everyone, as a lot of you guys know, we have made it to the halfway point of this alpha season of Origin. The meta has been changing dramatically almost every week, everyone really gunning for that top spot. With these constantly changing builds, even I, Chuck Fresco, have had to adapt my team that I originally was playing. With the build that I'm about to show you, I've been able to reach the top 200 of the ladder and sometimes top 100 depending on the day and the win streaks, but it's a very solid team and it's very enjoyable to play. With all that said, let's get started. All right, so let's look up our runes and charms here. As you can see, the team I'm using is an Aqua as a tank, a Plant as a midliner, and a Reptile in the back. Let's start off with the midliner here. It's basically a plant. The rune is a very basic or common rune called Tough Strike. It's a really good rune for midliner just because it gives you a little bit more damage that you need. And basically the cards you for sure want to get or parts is Cactus, Pumpkin, Carrot. Those are standard to my plays. Cactus because it taunts, Pumpkin, because it defends, and Carrot just because it gives you a little bit more energy in plays. This is the real card that I wanted to talk about though. This is brought to me by a player called Jatster. He's very big in the community right now, and it's basically an AoE card. It basically Earwing attacks all enemies and deals 3 bonus damage per card in your hand. So this card is amazing when dealing with a lot of things, and I honestly love this card. It helps against a lot of teams that like to taunt. You play this and you can get around it, so it's an awesome card. The other 2 cards are completely optional, but I choose Axie just because it gives you the ability to target, and that is so valuable in this game where people try to avoid from you attacking them. So that's it. Let's look at the charms real fast. Go in here. Basically all vitality charms. I was able to farm a few of these charms, so you might not be able to access some of these. But basically any HP charm you get, you try to put on it, and whatever power, if I didn't have enough HP vitality runes, I just added a little power runes to these two, to Cactus because it always attacks, and because Earwing because it gets a little bit more damage. But basically trying to make this Axie as tanky as possible. All right, next up we got the tank here, the Aqua. Basically for this Aqua, we have a basic common rune as well, Leftover Potion, super strong for the front tank. Being able to heal 4% of your max HP is so good right now. And it's not only that heal, you also have things, cards for sure you'll need for this one. I prefer if you can get double anemone like this one says. Really awesome cards. The secret card here is definitely Confident. Getting one with Confidence a little more rare, so you could try to get it if you can, but not necessarily. But Little Peas, I would recommend this one being a must, just because it makes your opponents more vulnerable to damage, which is awesome. This is definitely an optional card, Tiny Fan, but it does heal as well, so it can keep this Axie tanking a little bit longer. And Nemo for sure. So basically Anemone, Nemo, these are standards for tanks right now, just because Nemo gives so much energy. And right here we go into its charms. The charms basically, like the other Axie, will be a lot of vitality. You want to tank with these 2 front Axies. And then on this Axie you could see I just got all vitality runes. I got a little bit specialer runes, more upgraded versions of them, but primarily they're all just vitality runes. So if you can get common vitality runes, just stack them in there because they're going to really help you out. All right, and for the back Axie for my build, we're going to go with this Reptile right here. It's a little different, obviously, than the Beast closer that I usually use, and I'll tell you why I'm using this one. So basically I'm using a Reptile. The rune it uses is just Tough Strike. It's a basic rune, a common rune, but it's so good. Plus N damage to everything. Great for a damage dealer for sure. And the reason why I'm using Reptile is because a lot of them have more easy access to Tiny Dino. If you can find other cards that have Tiny Dino, it's great. But why is Tiny Dino so good? Basically, it has the mechanic Retain, which you can see right there that it says you basically, as soon as you draw it, you're going to keep holding it through the turns. It does not get discarded. And if you don't use the card and keep holding it, it will only get stronger, and it can get all the way up to 120 damage, which is really, really good value for a 1 energy cost card. So definitely a must card to have. The other must card I would say is Little Branch, because as you've seen in other videos, Little Branch opens you up to the ability to crit because it gains rage per living ally, including summon. So of course, another must card. Little Branch is a staple to a lot of my builds, so I use that one, and the other must card You don't need to have any of these primarily, but it's preferred if you can get a tiny turtle. It has the ability to stun and can really set you up for some great plays, especially against really defensive teams that require themselves to play a lot of armor. If you stun them, they won't be able to play armor. Little P's always a staple to a lot of builds because it gives them vulnerable. And the other two cards are just, you know, cards that I was forced to get because I couldn't get the perfect closer. So we're gonna see what the charms are right here. Not much different from the other Axies, just a lot of vitality. Vitality is one of the most important stats in this game because just a little bit more vitality can be the difference between winning and losing a game. So I'm using as many vitality runes as I can. And right here, I'm using a special rune. It's actually, I believe, a mystic rune. And this one has an ethereal effect. And you don't need to have this. I just added in because I got an Axie that has a card that I don't like called Green Thorns. It's not great for this build, but with this card, Ethereal, I can get rid of this card if I don't play it. And a lot of times I don't play it because I don't need it. There's special cases where it is useful, but in my build, not all the time. So I just have Ethereal there ready. So if I don't use it, it just gets banished and I don't need to worry about it coming back later in the game. All right, now it's time to see this team in action. So let's get started right here. We're playing against a defensive lineup. A lot of you guys play against this heal decks, so hopefully this can help you understand what they're trying to do throughout their rounds. So let's go. Gonna be a little bit of a long game because of it, but thankfully I have the thing. So I draw in, I use my carrot right away just to get value, and I use, this is one time I do use my Green Thorns, and I just use that to heal myself and just to banish the card. Banishing cards is always very powerful in this game. It thins out your deck. So you can see here, he loaded up on powers, which I think is a little bit broken, being able to add so many powers to yourself like this. But that's what he used with his turn. As you can see with Tiny Turtle right there, I stunned him, and I was able to do a little bit damage, but that might get patched later from what I understand. But just did a little bit more damage right there since it didn't do anything. He's trying to set up summons right here and just trying to do a little bit of damage. He didn't do much in his turn, but he's already set up. You see right here, he has thick shield. He has all these things to just make such a defensive play. I play Earwing right there. You see 47 damage to everything. The summon went down as well, and I gained a little bit of rage. Every single time I see Little Branch, I'm almost forced to play it in this kind of matchup because my goal for this game is to be able to go into Fury mode, and you need to get to 10 stacks to do that. So he's going into like a little damage phase right here. He's stacking up his armor, and you're going to see how much he can get his armor to. He's at 131 armor, 148 armor. That's nuts, and with a bunch of abilities too to play with it. So obviously I know that something's up. It's really strong right there. So I'm going to attack into it this time. I was able to do a lot of damage because it has vulnerable on it, and I increased my fury with confident. Any single time you see confident or you see your little branch out, you have to play it here. You have to keep building this one up. So right here, he just putting more armor on himself, made another summon play right here to keep raising his healing. In this play, let's see what I do. I just keep going for more damage into it. I use my little branch again. I'm at 8 stacks right now. I'm just 2 away from going to Fury mode, and this guy is just healing so much. You can see how much armor he gets right here. He's just healing up, going crazy. 216 armor right here, 233 armor. How am I ever gonna get past this? It seems like a lost game right here. But if you notice, Tiny Dino has been growing this whole time. Been slowly building up the whole time that I've been playing. I used the AoE card Earwing again to get rid of its summon, so he wasn't able to stack any more clovers, and I get more damage on him, and I'm weakening him out a little bit. But as you're gonna tell, these Axies, these heal Axies, have the ability to just keep healing and armoring up. So your goal is to do a one turn of a ton of damage to really hurt them. Because right here you see he's back up to 263. 193 shield right here, and that's insane right there. So I got confident. I go into Fury mode. You're gonna see some real damage. 136 damage from that one, and you're gonna see my Tiny Dino come out. Boom, 294, almost 300 damage to him. Boom, hit him. You saw how much armor and heal he had. And basically his whole strategy falls apart right here. It's amazing to see. And so this Axie was not meant to do much. He was meant to keep the other Axie alive forever. But as you can see, once you get into Fury mode, these heal decks get really, really scared. So Confident and Little Branch are definitely the MVPs for these kind of matchups. And that's the way I get around them a lot. So here, this guy doesn't have much. He doesn't have any power-ups himself. So he's going to really fall really fast. As you can see, we're already just hitting into him really hard. And honestly, this build would be a lot better, except that I'm running on a Fury mode build, which hurts him so much. It hurts these builds so much to build them. But I honestly think they're kind of broken. If you're not using that, it's way harder to get through all their stuff that they have. You need to kill them in one turn, like just wipe them out in one turn in order to really secure the win. So right here, I'm gonna go for another hit, 168 on it, no crit on it. Amazing. GG, no read to this heal team. Like I said, heal teams, I honestly think they're not the best teams to be in this game, but I'm able to get around them, and as you saw, our team has the ability to take them down. Anyways, that was my Fury Dino build right there. As you could tell, Tiny Dino is such a great card. It does take sacrifice of not being able to use a card for a while, almost a whole game. But if you have it and you get it early, it just has so much power in being able to hold the card throughout the game and use it whenever you want to. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out so much. And if you'd like to support me, I've left my Lunacian code down below and it's on the screen right here. No one's obligated to use it, but I have seen some people support me using my code, and I truly appreciate it, guys. It means a lot to see even anyone using my code. Anyways, guys, that ends it for this video. Take care, and I will see you guys all next time.